Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Overwatch Weekly. My name is Solorio, and I'll be your host for this evening, as always. Today we'll be talking about Genji. Now, Genji is one of my weakest heroes, so you're going to have to bear with me with the footage. It's not going to be very impressive. Also, Genji is actually a hero with the highest kill cap out of all the heroes in Overwatch because of his deflect and his mobility, which both need good skill and good planning in order to execute properly. As always, let's begin with abilities. Genji is a medium range DPS, but his main strength comes from his flanking ability, because of his mobility. Genji's primary ability is called Shuriken. It involves him throwing 3 ninja stars in a line, each one doing 28 damage. He can do 1 shot per second of this, and this is going to be your primary damage. It's very effective at medium and long ranges, or when dealing with tanks. It deals a fair amount of damage, and on heroes like D.Va you can get a critical strike with all 3 hits, which gives you a major damage boost. Genji's secondary ability is called Fan of Blades. Instead of firing his 3 shurikens in a straight line, he instead throws them out in a spread all at once. This is great for close range combat, as well as dealing more damage for tanks, because he actually fires 4 shots in 3 seconds, in other words, more than 1 shot per second on average. It's especially useful for when you or your target move around a lot, since often aiming your primary ability with a straight line of shurikens is very difficult. Genji's mobility ability is called Swift Strike. It sends him 14 meters ahead and deals 50 damage to any heroes caught in its area. It has a moderately long cooldown of 8 seconds, but the cooldown does reset when you get a kill, which makes it great for chaining kills in a team fight. It's important that you don't use this ability to move into a team fight, or into any fight in fact, because if you end up meeting your match, you don't really have the option to escape, since this is your primary form of getting away. Since this is a melee ability, this will go through Reinhardt's shield and D.Va barriers, and similar defenses. It also has the advantage of immediately confusing the enemy team, since you can go from in front of them all to behind them, and then half of them will go around and start chasing you, which is great for breaking a defense, especially at a choke point. And if they do decide to ignore you, then just turn around and start using Fan of Blades to do significant damage to the entire team from behind. Genji's active ability is called Deflect. It has a 2-second duration, and for that time it deflects all projectiles and hit scan weapons. Things it doesn't deflect would include Zarya's beam weapon or Symmetra's beam weapon, or really any beam weapon, and that's about it. Like Swift Strike, it has an 8-second cooldown. I find that it is especially effective against Roadhog, since it blocks his hook and also deflects his very strong close range attacks, which can easily knock him down quite far. That way when he's on low health after your deflect, you just attack him straight out and he'll die. Now there are a few less well known facts about deflect. Firstly, you actually aim in the direction you're deflecting the shots, so you can actually just face in the direction you want to deflect shots. Deflect also blocks melee attacks. It doesn't deal the damage back at the attacker, but it does block the attack. And this also includes Genji ultimate attacks and Reinhardt hammer. Genji's deflect can also turn the tide in a battle by deflecting an ultimate. Almost every ultimate in the game can be either deflected or reversed. For example, Mei's robot can be deflected when she's thrown it, and then the enemy team gets frozen. Or Hanzo's arrow, when he's using his ultimate, can be deflected, and then the dragons go in the opposite direction and fight for your team. Genji's ultimate is called Dragon Blade. It involves him pulling out a big samurai sword and slashing everyone around him for massive amounts of damage. It has a very big hitbox, so you don't have to be right in their faces to hit them, and each slash does 120 damage. It's 1 second per swing, which means in the 6-second duration of the ultimate, you can fit in 6 swings. While the ultimate's active, you also get even more increased movement speed, and it resets the cooldown on Swift Strike when you first use it. Also worth noting that if worst comes to worst, you can use your deflect while it's active, but you can't slash people while you're deflecting, so you want to avoid that if you can. Genji is special. He's one of the few heroes that has a full set of 5 abilities. Genji's passive ability is called Cyber Agility. It gives him the ability to double jump, climb walls, and a faster movement speed by about 10%. I wasn't able to find any hard numbers for that movement speed increase, but I have noticed it in game. These 3 things make Genji the most mobile hero in Overwatch. Now personally, I'm not a big fan of Genji, I don't play him very often, but at the same time there's a lot of really fun things to do with him. Doubling up your shurikens and then a swift strike to kill the enemy feels really great. The faster movement speed is also very nice because you can get it around a battlefield or get into the battle a lot more comfortably. And also nothing beats the feeling of using your deflect at just the right moment to kill the enemy. I've got a clip playing in the background somewhere of me deflecting a Bastion's ultimate back at him. Genji's deflect and mobility allow a skilled Genji to survive a long time, and it also knocks off a lot of heroes off his potential counters. He's also very effective as a distraction and harass, so it's important that your team is equipped with at least one hero that can counter him directly. Winston is a great counter because his Tesla cannon can't be deflected and it locks on in a wide arc. Symmetra is very effective because her primary ability locks onto her target and it can't be deflected. So it both negates his mobility and his deflection capabilities. Mei's endothermic blaster is a little harder to aim, but it can't be deflected, so if you just manage to keep it on him for long enough, he'll freeze and then you can headshot him for one hit. And worst comes to worst, you can ice block to avoid his ultimate, or you can wall to escape him. Lucio isn't exactly a counter, but he works well against an enemy team that has a Genji. His sound wave can deal damage to Genji and knock him away, which is effective for when he's ulting and attacking a nearby ally. In addition to that, he's just a great healer. Genji isn't really a strong counter to anyone, but he can be effective at flanking and using his deflect to get rid of a few heroes more easily than others. Bastion is one of these options. If you catch a Bastion unawares and you get right in his face, he'll automatically react by attacking you, so you just put up your deflect and he'll kill himself. Or if that doesn't work, you can just sneak behind him and shoot him in his squishy spot. Being a sniper, Hanzo is an excellent target for Genji, since he can flank around the enemy team, get in close, and then take him out, because Genji is a lot more effective at close range than a Hanzo. I want to point out that Genji is not a counter for Torbjorn. Your deflect doesn't last long enough to have the turret kill itself, and your damage is usually not strong enough to destroy the turret. You can work with your team to take it out, sure, but not on your own. Like Hanzo, Widowmaker is also susceptible to a Genji, since she isn't very effective at close range, and a Genji is. Next come the tanks. D.Va is the only hero that I would say Genji really counters. Because of her large critical hit area, he can just shoot his primary ability right at her crit and have all three of his shurikens hit it, and so he can take a D.Va out of her mech really quickly. And even if he doesn't because of strong healing, he can build up his ultimate charge very well against her. Genji also counters a Roadhog, due to the fact that he can block the hook and deflect his attacks back at him to deal massive damage. Also, Roadhog's large surface area makes him susceptible to attack. Lastly, another one of Genji's weak counters is Mercy, since he can flank around the team and then just kill her from behind. Of course, it isn't always going to work out, and you're going to need to be a good Genji in order to keep up the chase against the Mercy who zooms between her teammates. Now, there aren't any real strong synergies that Genji is a part of. I had to think for quite a while in order to think of heroes that work well with him. I would say Soldier 76 is one of them, because Genji's always flanking or trying to flank or fighting right in team fights. He might not always get the full attention of a healer, and so Soldier 76 can drop healing in the middle of a battle to help a Genji. And also he's just a good DPS all-rounder. Also, 76 is quite effective at taking out Genji's counters, all except for Mei. Mercy is a good healer because she can lock onto the Genji, and so while he's jumping around, she doesn't need to be accurate like Ana. Lucio can also work for this too. Zarya is very effective as a tank, since she can bubble a Genji who's harassing the enemy team, avoiding that damage and absorbing extra charge from him. Genji was one of the sons of the leader of the Shimada Empire, but he was a playboy and he wasn't really that interested in his family's business, which was illegal by the way. When his father died, Hanzo demanded that he get more involved in the family business. When Genji refused, tensions escalated between them, until Hanzo nearly killed him. He survived, and Mercy restored him to full health. Overwatch provided him with a new body, and in return, he worked for them to help them dismantle the Shimada Empire. After this happened, Genji grew more and more conflicted by his artificial body and what he had become as a person. He drifted a while until he met Zenyatta, an Omnic who became his mentor. He resided with Zenyatta in Nepal for a while before Overwatch was recalled, and, after confronting his brother again, returned to service. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please take the time to like and subscribe to the channel, it helps it a lot. And as usual, I'm always happy to hear your feedback in the comment section below. Next week we'll be talking about the other Shimada brother, Hanzo. Also want to put a shout out for some recent changes I heard about coming to Bastion in the PTR. When they come out to the PTR, I'll be going over them. It looks like they're going to fix all the problems I have with Bastion by reworking him a little bit.